Today we're going to be looking at rate problems. Problems involving rates can usually be solved by multiplying or dividing. We're going to go through a few steps and a few strategies to be able to solve these problems. The first step when solving rate problems is to write the units of the rate xy as a fraction, where x is the numerator and y is the denominator. So for example, if you had kilometers per hour, you're going to write kilometers as the numerator and hours as the denominator. Once you've done that, you will need to read the question carefully and find whether you are trying to find the value of the numerator or the value of the denominator. If you want to find the quantity in the numerator, x, we need to multiply the rate. So for example, it says a bus travels at an average speed of 88 kilometers per hour. How far will it travel in 3.5 hours? So the first thing you want to do is write the units of the rate and express it as a fraction. So we can see the rate as kilometers per hour, so we're going to write that as a fraction. And then we're going to read our question to find out what are we trying to calculate. It says how far, which means I want to know kilometers, which is my numerator. And if I'm trying to find my numerator, I need to multiply. So if I'm trying to find the distance, what I will need to do is multiply the time that I have, which is 3.5 hours, by the rate that I'm given, which is 88. So if we multiply these, we'll get 308 kilometers. So the bus will travel 308 kilometers in 3.5 hours. However, if the quantity that you want to find is in the denominator, we need to divide the rate. So for example, it says a soft drink factory makes cans at a rate of 150 cans per minute. How long does it take to produce 1,000 cans? So the first thing we're going to do is rewrite this rate in terms of a fraction. So we write cans over minutes. The second thing I'm going to do is find out what the question is asking me to calculate. And it says how long, which means time. And I can see that this is my denominator. So if it's my denominator, I need to divide. So if I want to know time taken, I'm going to first write down the number of cans that I have, which is 1,000. And I'm going to divide that by the rate that I have, which is 150. And that's because I'm looking for the denominator value, which is time. So if I divide those two, I would get 6 minutes 2/3. And I'm going to round that up to 7 minutes. So it will take about 7 minutes to produce 1,000 cans. Let's go through a few more examples. It says Ben types 55 words per minute. How many words can he type in 20 minutes? So remember, the first thing we're going to do is write our rate as a fraction. So we've got words as the numerator and minutes as the denominator. We're now going to read our question carefully and see what we're trying to find. It says how many words. So how many words? So I am actually looking at the numerator. And if it's the numerator, it means I'm going to multiply my values. So if I want to find out how many words, I'm going to multiply the number of minutes he's going to type for by the rate. So the number of minutes I have here is 20, and the rate I'm given is 55. So if I multiply these, and I'm multiplying them because I'm trying to find the numerator value, which is words, I will get 1,100 words. So Ben will type 1,100 words in 20 minutes. The second example says Marisol earns $23.50 per hour as a publicist. How much will she earn if she works 38 hours in a week? So again, step one, let's look at our rate. It says $23 per hour. So dollars is my numerator and hour is my denominator. So what we're going to do is now read the question to see what I need to find or calculate. It says how much will she earn? So if it's how much, I want to know dollars, which means it's my numerator, which means I multiply. So if I want to know her earnings, I'm going to multiply hours that she's working by the rate. So the hours in the question is 38 and the rate is $23.50. So if I multiply both of these numbers, It's $893. So Marisol will earn $893 if she works 38 hours in a week. Here's one last example. It says a plane can carry 450 passengers per flight. How many flights will it take to carry 2,700 passengers? So the first step is to write our rate in terms of a fraction. So it's passengers over flight. And now we're going to read the question to see what we need to calculate. It says how many flights. So I want to know this quantity, which is my denominator, which means I'm actually going to divide because it's the denominator value. So if I want to know how many flights, I'm going to divide the number of passengers and divide by the rate. So the number of passengers I want to know is 2,700 divided by the rate, which is 450. So if I divide these two, I will get 6. So it would take 6 flights to be able to carry 2,700 passengers. So remember, if you are looking for the numerator value, you're going to multiply. But if you're wanting to calculate the denominator value, you're going to divide. So it's important to first write it as a fraction, then work out what is it that you're trying to find in the question and work out whether it's multiply or divide. And lastly, calculate it and don't forget to write the units.